Hey, what's going on, guys? So welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be setting up the Bishop wand. I picked one up. I picked up the Packer, and I'm going to show you guys how I set it up. And to be honest, I'm still figuring out the best way to set this up, but the pen shape machines seem to be pretty easy to set up in general. So here we go. And I'm going to be using the critical power battery. I know Bishop wand has a battery that they have with it that's more perfectly like spherical or like cylindrical like the machine, but I already had this battery and I like how it works. It's got the digital screen on the side rather than it being on the top. There's a two-piece machine. There's a bottom piece and a top piece. So they do make grips for the machine, but first I'm going to show you guys how I set it up without the grips. And I'm gonna be using a clip cord sleeve which fits almost perfectly around the machine. And I pretty much what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna cover the bottom half of the machine, the part that would be grabbing to turn to adjust the hang of the needle. Medical tape it around the base as aligned and even as you can. Maybe you can have a little bit of slack or a little bit of the clip cord sleeve hanging out, because you're not going to be having it tightened all the way because your needle will be hanging out pretty far. And then we're going to put the same type of clip cord sleeve over the top end with a little bit of overlap onto the other wrap we just applied, so that way we're not touching the machine, at least trying not to, and still able to turn and adjust the throw or the hang of the needle. And I do kind of stretch it over the tip of the machine, so that way I can kind of puncture through with my cartridge a little easier. And I just like it to be a little bit snug in the front. Then I double tape it just to add a little bit of tension and secure it to the top of the machine the best that I can. And as you can see, you're still able to screw it, unscrew it without really touching the machine at all. And in some cases you can even put the Sensi wrap on the bottom half, the half that has a motor on it, just like a thin piece, so that way it gives you a little bit of extra grip. But I'll Sensi wrap the top of the machine. Another way to do it, and I would set this up normally like this, especially for like smaller tattoos where I'm not going to be adjusting the throw of the hang of my needle too much. Just one solid piece, because you can still adjust the hang of the needle by turning the machine, but I don't need to turn it as drastically because I'm not going to be switching between needles too much. But even still, you can still do it like this for any size tattoo. It's really preference at this point. I pretty much set it up the same way, except for the second step or the first step. I just go straight onto the bottom part of the machine, the grip. There it is. And then I'll Sensi wrap, and I'll fold the Sensi wrap in half, just so that way I'm not overlapping onto the motor part of the machine too much, so that way I can keep the tension in the grip on the top half, on the grip half of the machine. And then as I get closer to where the two pieces touch, I don't put as much tension there. As you can see, one part of it looks a little bit shinier than the other, is because I tighten up the top more than I tighten up the bottom. The bottom is more so for just being able to grip it. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to wrap my battery now. I fold one end, give it a little lip, that part's going to go over the machine, and then I cover the entire thing, and then I fold the top to the sticky side. No clue what I'm doing here. I did it backwards. But yeah, basically that's it right there. There she goes, ready to go, ready to rock and roll. Pretty easy to set these machines up, you know. You just got to find your preference, what makes you most comfortable, and then just go with it. It's pretty simple. 2 to 3 steps, really. So now we're going to be using the Bishop wand grips. So I like the thicker grip. So I'm going to be using the 1.5 inch, I believe it is. And they are disposable. They are one-time use. And we're going to set this machine up the way we started the first setup, where we cover the motor side of the machine. So this next part is actually filmed separately, and I'm using a lavalier mic. So I'm going to kind of walk you through how I'm going to set this one up. And I do kind of change the way I set it up. Like I said, it's really preference, whatever makes you most comfortable, whatever you think is going to be the most efficient for you. Here's what I do. So I'm going to have to set these up a little differently. But these grips in combination with the Papa trays, I think would be a good combo for optimal tattooing for convention type settings where you have multiple people waiting to get tattooed. But you know what? So the way I'm going to set this up is going to be a little different. I'm going to set up the back end of the machine first to keep it clean. I'm going to use this barrier film. Try to ride the edge of it and then just wrap it around. Pretty thick grip. I mean, there you go. It's set up. Now it's just about wrapping up my power supply or my battery pack. And that's how I do that as well. Then we interlock these openings. There we go. Simple, easy setup with the disposable wand. I'm excited to use this, so let's get down on it today.
Another day, another dollar.